Matthew Penning here with another lecture snippet. In this video, I'm going to take the client computer that I have on my network and I'm going to join it to the domain that I've been working on throughout this series. So we've already got a domain controller, we've already got a DHCP server set up, and so now we're ready for the client to be part of this domain that I have set up. If I go on my server to Tools and then Active Directory Users and Computers, I have not yet set up any computers on my network. In fact, if I click on computers, there are no computers in there. If I click on domain controllers, I can see my specific domain controller. And if I go to users, I really only have the administrative account that's active and valid to be able to log into. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take the client computer that I have, and I'm going to actually join it to the domain so that it's part of this Active Directory that I have to work on. So I'm going to switch over to that, and I'm going to go ahead and close this. So to join a Windows computer to a domain, it's actually fairly simple. If you click on the Start menu, you can go to either PC or computer, depending if you're working with Windows 7, 8, or 9. I'm going to go ahead and just type in computer, and you can see that it's giving me the option for this PC, and I could have done that by either typing in system, or I could have typed in this PC as well, but I'll just go ahead and right click on this PC, and I'll choose to go to properties. Okay, here within the properties, and if you look, it's actually located also under the control panel, under system and security, and then system. So there are quite a few different ways to get to this location, but what I want to do is, we're underneath this section that says computer name, domain, and workgroup settings. I can see that this is where the name of the computer is set up, but it's also belonging to a workgroup at the moment. I want to change this because I want it to be part of a domain, and I can do the changing of the name at the exact same time, which makes it really convenient. If I just click on the change button now, I can give it a new name for this computer. Let's just call it PC1. Just trying to keep it really simple here. And then I can go here to my domain, and I can type in the information for my domain. Now when I set up my domain controller, the NetBIOS name was just lecture snippets, and I should be able to just type that in here for the domain now and hit OK. There we go. So now it's asking me for the administrative account to approve this, so I'll type in administrator, and I'll go ahead and type in that password. And I'll go ahead and hit OK. And in just a moment, you should see that it's going to let me know that I've joined the domain itself. I will need to restart my computer in order for the settings to take effect. Okay, so you see that it says, welcome to the Lecture Snippets domain. So I've already joined the domain. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I also need to restart it, so I'll go ahead and hit OK there. And I'll go ahead and hit close. And I'll choose to restart now. So that's going to restart. I'm going to switch back over to the server because I want to show you while that's restarting that if I go to the computer section now, and let's go ahead and do a refresh, I should see, there it is. PC1 has now been added to my domain. So I've now taken this computer and I've joined it to the domain, so it's part of this actual domain structure that I have set up, which means now that I can log into that computer with any of the users I have set up here under my domain, which currently is just administrator. But if I created other users here, that user could also log into the computer. So I'm going to switch back over to the Windows 10 computer. Should be done restarting now. And then I'm going to go ahead and log in using the administrative account that's part of this domain. Okay, so it took a little longer for my computer to restart than what I wanted, so I've just moved the video forward a little bit. It took about 2 or 3 minutes for it to actually do a restart now that it's part of the domain. So now that I'm here at the login, you can see that it says PC1 Matthew. This is logging into the local user account that I had set up. I'm going to go ahead and click the arrow back. What I'm going to need to do is actually choose other user. And then I can go ahead and sign in with one of the domain accounts. You can see here that it says sign into. Now it's going to use the lecture snippets domain. So if I wanted to use administrator, I could do that now. I could type in administrator. Now, the thing about the administrative account is it automatically defaults back to the local account when you type it in. So what I'm going to need to do, if I'm going to log in as administrator, is prefix that with the domain name. So I'll do lecture snippets / administrator. And then I can go ahead and type in my password for the administrative account. Now it's going to log me in using that domain user account. Okay, so this is going to go ahead and log me in. If you want to know more about